Hey, you. How are you doing? Really? How are you doing? How are you holding up? Are you okay? I'm asking you because I know it has been tough. 2020. Yeah. The turn of the decade we all thought was going to bring change. We just didn't expect it to be so devastating to our lives. I know you are coping with a tough time right now. Maybe your job situation hasn't been stellar. Maybe your loved ones have suffered, and so too, you have suffered. Maybe you've been in a hot spot for political chaos. 2020 has brought us many things, most of which have been painful to bear. You have my deepest sympathy. I can't imagine the pain you are going through, and I hope by listening to today's podcast episode, I can alleviate some of that suffering. Roger Crawford said that being challenged in life is inevitable, but being defeated is optional. I couldn't agree more. To start, I want to give you permission to grieve. Too many times, we keep our emotions bottled up and bury ourselves in our work to snuff out the gnawing sensation that makes us human. It's okay to cry. I don't care if you're a grown-ass man, you deserve to be vulnerable. It's our vulnerability that makes us feel. I've been there. I know what it's like to be a stoic, to try and be strong for those around you, act like everything's okay when it really isn't. It hurts me to my core to try and pretend to be or act like someone that I'm not. I remember when Christmas came around and I heard my sister wasn't coming to be with the family. I was devastated because it's the one time in the year I'm able to be with all my loved ones in one place. When I heard my sister had contracted COVID and was in immense pain, it broke my heart. What if I never see her again? What if I regret our last words together? There was this immense anxiety I had to deal with through the holiday season, worrying about the well-being of my 33-year-old relationship with this woman, someone I'd grown up with, got close to. These feelings are natural. Grief never ends, but it changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, nor a lack of faith. It is the price of love. Talk to someone, your spouse, your friend, your family. You are not alone in the world, and it is okay to grieve. So I'm giving you permission to stop working and to take some time to process your own emotions. All right. Still with me? Great. I do have some good news. For the VFX artist, 2020 has opened its doors to opportunity. Gone are the days when you would have to live in a certain place in the world to work at a company that you wanted to work at. The pandemic has shifted studios to a digital workplace where artists can work virtually anywhere they want. Many of us, myself included, have created home offices furnished with our own personal belongings. Most days, I hang out in my pajamas. But with social distancing and work from home orders, there does come challenges in communication and collaboration. No longer can you simply walk over to your coworker's desk and bother them with a quick question. The idea of keeping paper copies of work, that's archaic. And let's not forget the family dynamic where you are raising your kids in addition to your daily work. For parents, my heart goes out to this astronomical pressure to juggle multiple balls in the air. For all the travesty 2020 has wrought, the VFX industry has been able to thrive thanks to its digital native skill set and tools, along with the job itself. Gaming companies have, for the most part, transitioned effortlessly. Now, the artist looking to join a new company does face much more competition than he or she did before. But this should motivate you and push you to become better. Sometimes it takes an overwhelming breakdown to have an undeniable breakthrough. I recall an episode from an anime I watched called ReZero, one where the main protagonist, Subaru Natsuki, is stuck in an infinite loop of life and death. Anytime he dies, his time rewinds to a point in the past where he has a chance to start over and change the outcome. We do not have Subaru's power to defy death or go back in time, but we do have the chance to start over anytime we want. As long as we do not give up and keep pressing forward in our lives, we can always choose to begin anew. 2021 is an opportunity to reinvent yourself. Maybe you're not happy in your current job. You can change that. Maybe you feel stagnant with the work you're doing and want to explore new areas in VFX. You can change that. Pick up a book, sign up for some classes, learn how to start your own business. One thing I want you to know, if nothing else from this episode, is that your job does not define you. Your identity is not just VFX artist. You are a parent, a mentor, a student, a friend. There was this great movie Pixar made in 2020 called Soul. It's a story about Joe Gardner, voiceovered by the talented Jamie Foxx, who is obsessed with finding and fulfilling his life purpose as a professional jazz pianist. His relentless pursuit blindsides him from his own gift of teaching the very students who look up to him in his classroom. The man is so engrossed in the ideal, he loses sight of the reality he lives in. In other words, we get so caught up with our future selves, we lose track of our present selves. Several artists have had this vision of who they think they're supposed to be. When Alex Redfish thought his life calling was Blizzard Entertainment, he realized he enjoyed playing the games more than working on them. After 10 years of making VFX, Bill Cladis' life purpose has shifted more to his family, his biking, and mentoring others. We need a well-balanced life, one that is wholesome and filled with many different aspects of work and play. As we move into 2021, don't make a New Year's resolution for the year. Make one for today. What's one thing you want to accomplish within the next 24 hours? I keep a daily journal I write in. I picked up the habit from studying the famous director Robert Rodriguez. Every morning when I wake up, I write down the things I want to accomplish that day. And right before bed, I write the things I was able to achieve. It's an interesting phenomenon that writing is one of the few activities in the world that requires us to actively think, something that modern technology has somehow robbed us of. As artists, thinking is vital to our creative process. If you've never taken a pencil to the paper to sketch out the thumbnails for your concept art, today may be that day. Tim Ferriss, one of the most famous podcasters out there, said this: I don't journal to be productive. I don't do it to find great ideas or to put down prose I can later publish. The pages aren't intended for anyone but me. It's the most cost-effective therapy I've ever found. I want to end this episode with a gentle reminder that nothing in life comes without effort. If you want to be successful in your 2021 goals, you will have to put in the work. There will be highs and there will be lows. You'll find parts that are exciting, glamorous, and full of spectacle, but equally, you're going to find other areas that are monotonous, repetitive, and boring. But I encourage you to trudge on through the good and the bad. The best kind of happiness is intrinsic happiness. If you love what you do in the moment, then you've found a calling that only you were meant to do. After all, there's no one else in the world like you. It's a scientific fact that your DNA is unique. So don't squander your potential on something that doesn't spark joy in you. The world needs your contribution, and you would be doing a disservice to others if you neglect bringing out that work that fires you up every day. As my good friend Kathy Heller says, the opposite of depression is not happiness, it's purpose. So you deserve to have a fulfilling career, and 2021 is the year for you to make that ideal a reality. Everyone, I was so happy to bring this podcast on 1 year ago, and it's been an amazing journey so far. Bringing it back online for 2021, I already have a slew of new guests with insightful conversations to share on the wonderful world of real-time visual effects. The podcast was created specifically to bring us closer as a community. There are all these amazing and talented people throughout the industry who we hear about, but we actually don't know. And I'm hoping that by listening to each of these episodes, you can be inspired by their unique stories and encouraged to take action yourself. Speaking of action, I want to take the time to ask for a favor. Even though this is a niche field, there are many artists who have not heard about the podcast. It would mean the world to me if you could rate this podcast on your music player and leave a review so we can get more exposure on the streaming platform and bring more people to listen in. If you ever want to contact me, please reach out directly. I'm on all the social media channels, and you can find me on Twitter at CFTempest or at my email address, travismccollum86@gmail.com. DM me with any guest ideas, thoughts on VFX, or anything that really catches your fancy. I do read all my DMs and messages that you send to me. No bots, no staff members. I personally believe in investing in my audience members because you deserve a human connection. Finally, I do want to pitch an idea for a series. If you are a student or an aspiring VFX artist looking to get into the industry and have a question you want to ask the experts in the field, why don't you shoot me a question in a DM, and I'll try and compile a list together and put together a panel to be able to tackle a Q&A session for us. And if you do have a demo reel and you'd like to have it reviewed, send it my way. And I'll see if I can get some of our guest experts together to review it and give you some notes and action steps so we can make it even better. I love you all so much. Until next time, rock on.